Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back. Sober Experience. It is July 5th, the day after America's birthday, and we're all trying to do our best. You know, there's a lot of wokey stuff on the computer. You know, as I drink my ultra peachy keen flavored Monster Energy drink. What could be more, American than that? So, yeah, everything is going good, man. Another sober holiday. I went to a barbecue yesterday at my homegirl Allie's house, and it was nice. It was like half sober people and half like people, which was cool, and we really appreciated that. Yeah, it was nice, man. I don't really come out and chill, man. I just don't. I don't. I'm an old man in those ways, so I appreciated hanging out with some of the younger in sobriety people, and some of the conversations were poignant, if that's the right word. Yeah, and there were people just talking and blah 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 blah, and yeah, learning. But it's funny because yeah. Yeah, it was just a good day. It was funny because, in more than one discussion at the barbecue, more than one discussion came up about like people like having relationships or dating in the recovery rooms, or they call it 13th stepping. And it's funny because actually, unrelated to that whole thing, there is a bar. I don't know if it's still around, but it used to be, I don't know, east side of Manhattan. I think it was like in the East Village, maybe, if you want to call it that or whatever. And it was called the 13th Step. And the folklore was, if you went there with your AA coin, they would, they'd give you a free drink. Let me look it up to see if it's still around. Hold on 1 second. 13th Step Bar. Yeah, 149 2nd Street. Oh, it says permanently closed. A lively space featuring a young crowd, pub grub, drink specials, and plenty of games on the tube. That's so funny. Yeah, after 12 rowdy years in the East Village, dive bar 13th Step is done, or at least in its current location. This was in January of 2023. So pretty funny. Anyway, yeah. So, but in recovery, the 13th step is that like when, somebody's new and they are, no, I shouldn't say allegedly. Apparently, they are vulnerable. They're in a vulnerable position. Emotionally, mentally, and they're coming there to get help, right? And then some person, typically they like to blame men for this. And I don't take offense to that, but I have to defend men. And it's shocking that I have to defend them all the time. And I'm like, dude, I thought you guys wanted equality and all these other things. So anyway, so they're saying all right, so then let's say some girl comes in and she's got maybe how many days? I don't know. 7, 11, 30, 20. And then some dude comes up and he's got 1 year or 6 months. He's got more time. And then he tries to hit on her or take her out somewhere, whatever, tries to get in the skinnies, And yeah. And it's not, well, how can I say it? It's frowned upon. It's frowned upon. I was talking to my boy. I think I mentioned this in another show. There was a guy who I know, and he was just like, oh, I heard in AA and NA, everybody's just fucking everybody. I was like, dude, are you crazy? That is absolutely not happening. That kind of stuff happens. It goes, it happens because you have men and women in the same place, or women and women, or men and men, And that's the thing that I was taking, I was taking exception to, because over the years, there's definitely been some creeps, and these are creeps that were like, I'm sure maybe they were like weenies when they were out there, and then now they come into recovery and they become creeps, or they were creeps when they were out there, and then they look for, people who are in distress, and they try to take advantage of them sexually and in any other way, which was the point of the whole thing. So point being, and this is the point, was that like, it was a weird thing that like people, I don't understand why people kept, like I said, it was brought up like 2 times in 2 separate conversations, once in the backyard, one in the front yard, like with me. Like, oh, why is people asking, talking about it in front of me, whatever. Anyway, so the point is that like, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I have a very particular opinion based on my experience about that kind of stuff, and I wasn't shy about sharing it without like dismissing or without being disrespectful to women. I just wasn't. And basically what I said was that like, hey, listen, any one of these girls that come into the rooms, women, girls, whatever, listen, they are definitely in distress. But they are not like a damsel in distress. They are not helpless. If a woman or a man has been out there drinking and doing drugs and is an addict and an alcoholic, they've been out there shucking and jiving and lying and stealing and cheating and like all of these things. And it's like, oh, no, wait a minute. I need to come to I'm going to use air quotes, a safe space. I need to come to a safe space. I'm like, dude, meanwhile, you've been out there wrecking like a wrecking ball to your family, to your loved ones, to your husband, to your wife. Like, and now all of a sudden, like, some guy fucking hits on you and then you crawl into like a ball in the corner. Is that what you're saying? It's not what I've seen. I've seen people use that as an excuse to like, be gone. Like, oh, fuck this place. I'm getting out of here. And that's what I don't like. Because they're like, oh, if this is the kind of shit that goes on over here, I don't want to be part of it. And I understand that because like maybe if they're really trying to get their act together, well, they can just be like, hey, listen, I'm not here for that shit. Save it, pal. Hold on, because I'm going to plug in my phone because I got to... Nah, I don't have to charge it. Yeah, like they could just say, listen, I'm not here for that. Like is that what you're telling me, that they're incapable of that? But rightfully so. Most of the time when there's a new girl, like the other girls kind of huddle around her and say, hey, listen, it's not really a good idea to use the power that you have in this room. It's not going to get you anywhere but in trouble. Here's where we're all trying to get our lives together. Because women do have the power. They do. Some of them don't know how to use it. Some of them have, they just don't know how to use it, or, they've been, I don't know, what can I say? Maybe I'm not going to say they haven't been shown to use it, but yeah, women have the power on this earth. And it's not just in between their legs. They just mentally, emotionally, they're like way ahead of the game than us, men. And that's why I have like powerful women in my home. So, but what was shocking to me, that was just like, hey, listen, look. And I tried to be like, and I wasn't going to be very vulgar about it. I wasn't going to be like, hey, look, man, and this may or may not be true, but like as a generalization, like each one of these women before they came here, they knew their way around a man. If they're a straight woman, they knew their way around a man to get whatever they needed to get when they ran out of whatever they needed to run out of. Now, a lot of, I guess it's not politically correct to even say that, but it's not saying it out of judgment. It's just like a fact. Like I've seen more than not that like, a girl comes in to recovery And like, let's say this, I can't, it's so hard for me to not name names. It's so hard. I've been sober a long time. I've been to a lot of rooms and hundreds of thousands of meetings. And I know a lot of people. So what I'm saying is that I've seen where like there's a young girl, let's just say she's 30, right? And the guy's like 42. And he's like, they get a little crush. He gets a crush on her. She gets a crush on him. I think that's just part of being human. Like men and women get crushes on each other. Now, how you behave on that is determining on what kind of, what kind of life you want to lead, what kind of morals that you want to live with. We're all susceptible. Nobody's above that, which is why, we always say people, places, and things. Anyway, what I'm saying is that, so this guy thinks that he's going to get one over on this girl. Like, oh, yeah, she's the new hot girl in NA or AA. And I'm going to fucking blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, within a few weeks or a few months, he's in the room fucking crying. Literally. That girl has spun him out, and maybe he's drinking now. And she's like, dude, that guy's a fucking creep. I'm like, yeah, dude. I've seen that happen more than the guy getting the upper hand. And that is the truth. I've seen that happen more. And I tried to tell this lady, well, it was one lady, I mean, she wasn't in the room, but she was saying that. Kind of not saying it, but she was mentioning it. I was like, dude, I said, listen, I've seen lesbian women do that to other women. Right? And she was even shocked that I would say that. And then there was another girl who was sitting next to her, my homie Sam, and Sam was like, absolutely yes. That has happened. We're they call it 13 stepping, that one woman will 13 step another woman, thinking yeah. And then next thing you know, there's trauma bonding. And then they're in the house together and they're doing the fucking Reiki and they got the freaking candles on. And they're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden now that girl's a lesbian for a little while because she's questioning because she's fucked up in the game. Dude, I know. I've seen that happen. I saw it so bad. I saw it so like such an abuse of I've seen it happen naturally, and I've seen it happen maliciously between women. Super maliciously. And it's bizarre because I'd love to I don't want to say, yeah, I could tell stories, but some of the stories I could tell, the people they're dead. Because after, living a life like that, you end up drinking and drugging because, you're not really made for real recovery, which is, trying to help people and live happy, joyous, and free and being on a road to recovery, which means that you may make these mistakes in the beginning, but then after a while, you straighten yourself out. And then you're like, all right, this ain't the place for that. This ain't the thing for that and whatever. I've seen people do it with jobs. The guy will come in, he'll get a job. I've had people people in AA work for me many, many, many times. Yeah. So, and some of them fucking stole, and I've seen that happen a lot because you try to help another person out. All right, hey, look, I'll give you a job, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, it's a whole fucking mess. But there was just this stigma attached. It was just men preying on women. And I was just dude, that's not always the case. And these women are not again, they're not some damsel in distress that's tied to a fucking railroad track and the train is coming and they can't help themselves. That's no way. No way. Right. I was whatever. And then a few hours later, I was in the front and smoking a cigar. And the topic comes around, comes up again. And I'm like, dude, what's up with the obsession with that? Unless there's an undercurrent or maybe there was people who was in that party that maybe that kind of stuff was going on. I don't know who's playing footsie with who because I'm very far removed from all of the gossip stuff. I dated one girl in the rooms. I had 3 years. She had 1 year. We dated for 6 months. It ended up really bad. And but I was also young. She was also young. Yeah, it was just crazy. Everything that bad that could happen happened. Every single thing. Yeah, it was bad. And she's also no longer with us. So R.I.P. to her. And I miss her spirit. I don't miss her like in like, oh my God, a loving, longing way. But like, you're just two kids. Like, hey, we tried to do this thing and it was definitely not meant to be. But it was meant for us to have that experience. And, at the end, months later, we like laughed about it. Like, dude, we were like fucking crazy. What the hell were we thinking? So, yeah. So I was just like, I was like, dude, again, with this topic, I was just like, hey, listen, man, I've had married women, and not like Real Housewives of New Jersey, like silicone, BBL, sick, hot fucking women, married women be like, hey, what's up, sir? Like, it's always like, a regular AA lady who's having a hard time at home, and we've been in the rooms and blah, blah, blah. I take care of myself. And, they're trying to leave a breadcrumb. I've had that happen multiple times. And I was just like, I just pour water on it. I pour water on it, because same thing that when I dated the other girl, within a week of me dating that girl, 15, 18 years ago, whatever, within a week I knew everybody's business, which I did not want to know. So, anyway, but yeah, it's just, after that experience, I was like, I will never do that again, no matter what. And I never have. So I was just like, dude, yeah, I've had that happen. I've had that happen. And I've seen men lose their shit. When I mean lose their shit, not just like be spun out emotionally, mentally, physically. I've seen men get spun out financially. I've seen girls beat guys for like fucking thousands of dollars. Move them into a fucking apartment. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't get rid of them. And like all kind of shit. After mayhem. Fuck, I've seen mayhem. So these women they're not like, they're not like these little snowflakes. Not all of them. Some of them, yes. And when bad shit happens, we can help them pick up the pieces. But yeah, so I said that. I was like, listen, it's a mathematical equation. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of meetings. I sound like Trump. Millions and billions and zillions and gillions. Yeah, so like the amount of time that an offer has been made that I even was cognizant of, I don't know. Like, whatever, you lose count. You lose count. And you're like, I remember that. I remember, it's just part of being a human being. And again, maybe that lady's having a bad moment in her life. And I'm like a distraction from her problems. And then I said the same thing happens with the clients in my business. When I'm in and out of people's homes. If it's happened, it happens if I'm out there every day inside people's homes every day, it's every couple of months it would happen. And it's weird because it really opens your eyes to like how some families are, in the sense that like, dude, there are people there who are distressed. Dude, there's a girl that, dog, she was in the fucking towel like the whole time and tried to have me like in the bedroom. And she's like, yeah, my fiance, he's studying to be a doctor, but he's doing his residency in North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. Right. And she was a very, 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 very attractive woman. And I was just like, no. Like, no, I just can't. Like, and I just, I danced around it very awkwardly. It was so weird, very awkwardly. Cause my cousin knows the girl and whatever. They worked in the same hospital together. And I was like, oh my God, bro. I called him right. I was like, dude. And it's because, and this was many years ago. I think it was before I met my fiance. It's because I'm like, dude, I can't live like that. I just can't. I don't remember if I was dating somebody or not at the time, but I just knew that like those experiences, they don't lead me to a good freaking place. In the moment, I'll feel like $1 million. And then it's like it's like that first bump of cocaine. Then I'll chase that moment to the depths of insanity. You know, because it's just like validation. Oh my God, this hot girl wants to have sex with me. You know, it's crazy. Yeah. I've suffered the repercussions of that. And looking back through my history, and we were talking about that today at the big book study that I go to on Zoom at noon. It's called A Way Out, best group ever on Zoom. And we're talking about doing the inventory, fourth step, and the sexual inventory, like, you know, where in my life has that kind of behavior been more harmful than good in the end, you know? And then see what patterns I have when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then how do I avoid that? And dude, it was very hard to turn this person down. Just like in the moment, it's not hard to turn it down now, but but I'm also a human being too. That's why I don't put myself in those positions, you know? Because, like, bro, I could never live with myself if I fucking did that to my girl. Like, or I would be maybe petrified that I could live with myself. And then the truth is you won't even stop. If it ain't going to bother you, you ain't going to stop. That's the fucking deal, you know? So it was just weird that it came up a couple of times at the party. And I just thought, I was like, what? And then I, you know, then I felt, you know, a little bad, like maybe I was a little too candid about it because I made some offhand comment like, yeah, there's nothing more, you know, more desperate than like a Park Slope mom, you know, and that was like a little bit of a judgy thing. But that's happened a few times where, like, you know, the lady, now that we're the same age, or even when I was younger and they were a little older and I was working in their house, they'd be like it'd be a little aggressive. Or they come to the door with fucking almost nothing on. Like, I mean, like you would think this was like a movie from the 80s. I mean, nothing. I mean, like a sheer thing and no clothes underneath. None. I'm like, whoa. Like, you know, like it can't be any more obvious than that. You know? Aside from actually, like, you know, maybe somebody trying to like physically touch you, which I stay away from. You know, even a few times that it's been, I'm like, whoa. Like, you know, what I do is I just start talking about my kids and my woman, and that pours water on everything, you know? And I don't even judge them for being like that because I just think like, hey, look, guess what? They're in a rough predicament in their life in those moments. I don't think that they're pieces of shit. I don't think that that they're morally reprehensible. I just think that, like, look, man, they need a break. And whatever's going on in their life, this is the way that they're going to take that break. And yeah, and I'm happy to just, you know, not be part of that equation. Because it's not good for me spiritually. Like, spiritually meaning like on my heart. In my mind, I can rationalize anything. But in my heart and how I feel about myself, it doesn't leave me in a good space. I get the hangover. And I can't just be like, yeah, this was life, you know, blah, blah, blah. These things happen. Like, I have enough experiences when I was a single person or when I was, again, in active addiction. Dude, even though I got sober, I was 24. You know, I just did drugs and I drank and I had sex with wild women. That was my job. And try to make some money from 12 to 24. And then from 24 till 30, I guess 32, 34. I just did it without drinking and drugging. So I know the emotional hangovers that I get, where like the one day that you're just like, dude, why am I doing that? I don't want to do this. It's so weird when you get to that place because people think like men have lizard brain. Like, oh yeah. It's like, yeah, maybe like the first 2 or 3 times, you know, you're like trapped in that lizard brain and you're just like ringing that bell, ringing that bell, ringing that bell. And then eventually the bell is a headache. And then you're just like, dude, who am I? Who am I? what footprint am I leaving here? You know, I've already checked off those boxes. I just have, like, you know, and here's the thing, like, you don't even know that you checked them off until after you check them all the way off. Then you look back at your behavior and you're like, oh man, I was a little bit selfish, self-seeking in these ways. Yeah. So, you know, it's a growing process. I'm just happy I came into the rooms young. I'm happy I got sober when I was young. I got all that out of my way, which is why I'm getting married now at 44. 44. Listen, there's nothing that anybody, you know, that they could wave in front of me that's going to make me forget that I love my love. I love my love. Well, I love my love. Like I'm bumbling. Like I love my woman. Nothing is going to make me forget that, you know, on any level. And that's the truth. That's the truth, man, because, you know, sit across from your partner that you do love and that loves you in a way that you are learning to love them. You know, if that makes any sense. Like somebody who loves you and honors you and respects you and looks after you, tries to help you, and I'm going to fucking do this, something like that, for the small amount of, again, unearned serotonin, right? Is that the word? I can't, it's one of those own-in, serotonin or whatever, you know, unearned, unearned high, I guess. Endorphins, serotonins, whatever, unearned bumps. You know, I get that at the expense of somebody else and at the expense of myself. So that if I have to do that and then sit in front of my woman, if she finds out and I break her fucking heart, bro, and she's there crying, dude, that's the stuff that will lead me right back to the drug dealer, to the drink, to all of that stuff. Because the likelihood of me being able to live with that is very low. I would have to really hold on to not pick up after doing that kind of harm to somebody who loves me in that way, to do that to them. Yeah. And I don't know what's worse, either that or them not finding out and me having to live with that they don't have to find out that I just did that to somebody, to them. Yeah. It's not worth me finding out. It's not. You know, I've learned enough about myself through all of the step work, 4 step, 6 step, 7 step, 9 step, 10 step, bro, that I know, you know, even the thought of it. Look, I've made my woman cry I don't know how many fucking times with shit that I've done that's not been that, you know, even stuff that maybe was even close, but like not infidelity in that way. Betrayal. You know, betrayal, that's the word. When you betray somebody who loves you, you know, yeah, man, I can't, I would have to, I'd have to get high to live through that, you know? So I just fucking don't do it. So it's funny. So my homegirl, Allie, she was just like, you know, she said it like very offhand, like, well, how did you know that I was like a safe person to be around? And I was like, I didn't. I just know me. I know that I'm the safe one. You don't have to be the safe one. I know that I'm the safe one, that I'm not going to do nothing. You know, I'm just not. And I'm not really around a lot of women like that. I'm not. In the Polar Bear Club, of course there's women there. In AA, NA, yes, there's women there. But as far as me like hanging out one-on-one, that type of shit, that doesn't really exist in my life. It just doesn't. It doesn't. You know, there's no space for lizard brain humanity with the history that I have of having very squeaky brakes in all areas of my life. I don't want to have to find out in that area that I have them too. you know, because I really worked very hard on myself to enjoy and build what I have, which is I know what it's like to live in a relationship with another human being that is unadulterated. You know, that these little things are that we're speaking about today are nothing but just passing thoughts. I'm not like white as snow, like, oh, I've never looked at a woman. I look at fucking every tit that is on the street. Everyone, old, whatever, obviously of age. But like, I look at them all, I'm like, oh, boobs, tits, nice. You know? And that's it. You know, that's it. And then I keep it fucking pushing. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe some of that is just like DNA or some of that is not or whatever. I don't know. But that's the deal. So anyway, hope you guys had a great 4th. I am going to get out of here in a second. But, you know, be grateful. We live in this country, man. I'm always grateful for that. Hold on a second. There was something very funny that I saw on Instagram that I wanted to play. Because it reminded me of, like, these people, like all these, you know, all these new guys that are like, that are now like sober and they have like, you know, they're trying to find themselves with desperation. And the desperation in which that they're trying to do it is like hilarious. And this guy nails it because, you know, you try everything. You try yoga, you try this, you try that, because you're trying to just be spiritual instead of, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, man, how am I living? How am I treating people? How am I helping people? And what's, you know, what's in my heart, you know? So I saw this on the gram. I'll end with this, and we'll have a laugh together.
By 2 a.m., you'll never be successful. You'll never be successful. Let me walk you through a successful person, aka me, morning routine. I've got an alarm set for 1:25 a.m. and an ice bath already prepared next to my bed. Immediately upon awakening, I cold plunge. Don't let Big Pharma fool you. You want to spike your cortisol levels as high as possible, as early as possible. I'm dressed and out the door by 1:32. I train lower body. I come back. I eat 6 ounces of duck liver and a pint of egg yolk. Just the yolk, never any carbs. Carbs make you fat. From there, I go right into my prayer, right into my breath work, right into my meditation, right into my gratitude exercises, right into my 3-week vision board, right into my 5-month vision board, right into my 3-year vision board. I go back to the gym, I train upper body, and I finish with 15 minutes in an infrared sauna, 15 minutes in a charcoal sauna, and 22 minutes in a steam room. I do 4 rounds of that. I come back, wake up the kids, get them ready for dinner. I've done more by 6 a.m. than you've done this entire week. And that is why I have a podcast studio in my home and you don't. Because a morning routine's like this and nothing to do with the trust fund my father set up for me.
It sounds like a guy with 1 year of sobriety. All right. I love you guys. Peace.